everybody. Welcome to the Attractions Group podcast. This is our third and final day at the IAAPA Expo 2022, and it has been yet another whirlwind of a day, hasn't it, Don?
It has been, a lot of walking around, but, today we had an opportunity to, look at a lot more things than, we had a chance to when we were recording a lot of different interviews and that, but take a closer look at some of the products and different things that are being offered here.
Yeah, we did a lot more of the shorts too, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, go to our YouTube channel, search for the Attractions Group podcast on YouTube, and you can see a bunch of shorts just for a small taste of what's going on at IAAPA. Don, what did you see today that was impressive?
I tried a couple of the VR type of experiences. It's amazing what you can do now with that. So, I had a chance to take a look at that. Got to try some of the different food samplings that they had. That was something we weren't able to do the first couple of days. And then just connect with some people again today that, I've known throughout the years, and just be able to sit down and have some conversation with them, see how they're doing, and talk about why they're here. And, some of them have their own booth, and, just to be able to catch up with them has been nice.
Yeah, it really has been nice. I think the thing, I got to ride that Zamperla Nebula, and that ride I thought would look impressive, but the ride experience would be kind of, Well, that wasn't the case. It was really, really neat. You go one direction, and when you go backward, it's like got foot choppers because those arms are coming the other direction. And then when you go forward, it has like airtime. So it was a really, really cool experience. I got to do it. I always wanted to ride those. It seems like they're being installed all over the place, but this is the first time I've actually gotten to ride it. So
yeah, up close, it looks really, really impressive. A lot of fun, and like you said, you're starting to see them popping up, throughout the country now.
Yeah. Well, IAAPA is a place of where you get like a lot of the most innovation, and you see like what's up next. And one of the companies that's been turning a lot of heads, been around for a long time, but recently it's kind of floating to the top of the pile, is Vekoma International in the Netherlands. We had the opportunity to talk to Bram and Carin. There's two of the spokespeople for Vekoma, and we're talking a little bit about their new installation at Dollywood, the Big Bear Mountain, as well as their new tilt coaster concept. And this is what they had to say about that. All right, I'm with Bram and Carin here from Vekoma, very famous coaster manufacturing company. They're here to talk about some of their new products. So, Carin, we got Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood. What are your thoughts on that?
It's going to be massive. It's the largest roller coaster that is going to get to Dollywood, and it will be Vekoma's first family launch coaster. So really excited to get that over to Dollywood for next year. It's opening up in spring 23.
Yeah, we're very excited. You guys have that family inverted coaster there that's really fun.
It will have 3 launches.
I know, that's so neat. So, so Dollywood is a park that's just a few hours from me, so I go there and visit often. Super excited about it. We're going to show you the train and everything. The train looks amazing. It really does. It's got like the mud that kicked up. It really looks like trucks and
it fits just within the theming, because the Park Explorer Net Oakley, people can just get in the train and join in with the onboard audio and should search for the bear in Big Bear Mountain. So we had the SUV coach that is just really themed and fits within the whole theme area. It's going to be in Wildwood Grove, so we already have the suspended family coaster Dragonfly over there. So this one is going to join it as well, and it will be almost 3,995 feet long. So it's just like 2 coasters in one.
That's so cool. That's so exciting. Bram, so Cota Land, you guys are doing the new tilt coaster. That looks terrifying. Tell me more about the tilt coaster.
Yeah, we have tilt coaster 1 and tilt coaster 2.0, right? So it will be the same layout, but it's upgraded. Mm-hmm. So what can I say more about it? I think
we did some re-engineering. So we had the first tilt coaster for 20 years ago installed in Taiwan. So we did some new engineering that's compatible with a new ride system for the MK1101 train.
Okay.
And this one, the first one is going to Cota Land, so at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. So we're really excited about this one for coming to the US. Mm-hmm. And it's going to have a very, very nice and thrilling layout. But at the height of 45 meters, you will just have the 6 seesaw just tilting. Can you imagine that you are in the back seat just looking at the
down.
steep drop.
I am terrified of the thought, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really thrilling ride.
So, without getting too technical, how does the train like lock in so it can stay in that position? I've always been curious about that because I imagine normal brakes won't hold it for that, will they?
Yeah, we have a safety system built in,
Okay.
so it will hold the train.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a double safety system that holds it, and it's based on a hydraulic system.
Oh, that's so cool.
All
Yes.
with a hook that's coming out. So it will,
Okay, so for the tilt coaster though, does it have a lift hill to the top, or does it have an elevator, or how does that work?
Lift hill.
It has a lift hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any kind of like height limitation, or can you make that thing
We can,
Like-
for now, we can go up to 60-meter height.
60 meters so
Yeah,
far?
Yeah, and
Awesome.
we did some extra engineering on it, so you have less movement when there is strong wind, of course.
Mhm.
So we stabilize it, and it's actually right now in our backyard at our test facility in the Netherlands. So we are testing it right now, rounding up in December. So yeah, it's just awesome to see and just check
really
it out.
nice.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of exciting things going on. Vekoma's been around for a really long time in the industry, for industry standards. It's almost a completely different company now. It's very much top of the game for innovation, quality, and so on. So that's really cool to see. What are some other like products that you guys have that you would want to just kind of mention here that maybe the viewers wouldn't know about?
We have added different products to our product portfolio, more thrilling rides, because Vekoma has always been into the family rides.
Okay.
But we try to combine family and thrill. What we got in Asia is the Renegade looping coaster, also with the Top Gun. And in Vekoma Land in Denmark, we got the first Wildcat coaster with the world's first stall loop. So
Okay.
that is a pretty exciting one. It's just with leg coaster that you just have to go through to the station, so people in the queue line see the train going up with 60 kilometers an hour, near misses, a lot of airtime moments, so we're really excited about that one as well.
Awesome,
We
awesome.
have, last but not least, the flying coaster in
Yes.
Europe. So
Yeah, so at my home park, they had until recently they had a Flying Dutchman, the old flying coaster, and that was retired about 5 years ago at this point. But the new ones, they load a little bit differently, right? Don't they load in like a sitting position and then twist? Can you talk about that, like how you load into the new flying coaster?
yeah, this like a seat, and it will twist when you get into the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's nothing compared
Not-
with the old Flying
nothing
Dutchman.
compared.
No.
No.
It's a spaghetti of track going up and
Going.
forth, and 2 launches. And we are really excited about that one as well. Nothing
Yeah.
but raving reviews. And in Fantasyland, you just get in your seat, you have the dark ride area, and at some point you will be in the hanging position and you can just fly. It's just amazing feeling.
It's a great experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's there. So for some of these rides, it's there's dark ride elements,
Yes.
in which you can actually be in almost like a sitting position, right?
Yes.
And then you can go back to the flying position.
Yeah, you will be rotated 90 degrees, so you'll be hanging under the track in your flying position, and then you will be launched. So that's just amazing experience. It's nowhere else in the world.
All right. So one last question I got to ask. I know that when you guys work on these projects, that each one is kind of your baby. Bram, what's your favorite Vekoma coaster that you've been involved with?
Then it's the flying coaster.
The flying
That's
coaster.
right, yeah.
Awesome.
It's really, really great. It's an awesome ride. Yeah.
What about you, Carin?
I love fly, and I have been to Phoenix and in Denmark, so I love the Wildcat as well. It's
Awesome.
just so cool, so smooth. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, what's your website and what are your social media channels for this if you want to learn more?
Yeah. It's vekoma.com. It's our website.
Okay.
And our Instagram is Vekoma Rides.
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing,
Yeah,
so-
we are on Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
and LinkedIn.
All right. Well, we'll link you guys in the description for this video, so hopefully we can drive some traffic. But thank you guys so much. Congratulations on a very, very strong year for new installations going into 2023. And I wish you guys the best moving forward.
Thank you
Lots
so
of
much for coming by.
Thank you so much. Hey, I really appreciate it, guys.
Now, sometimes at IAAPA, you walk around and you see all the new shiny toys, but you also see some of the toys that have been around forever, well over 100 years. And we had a chance today to sit down with Tom Rebbie and his daughter, Janine, from the Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters Incorporated. Here's what they had to say. Ready, here we go. All right, it's day 3 of the IAAPA Expo, and we're excited to be joined right now by Tom Rebbie and his daughter Janine. They're with the Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters Incorporated. And Tom, for you, 45 years now with the company.
Yeah, yeah, it's been amazing. When I started here, I just came so I could find a better job, and I've always said that all along the way. When I find a better job, I'm out of here. Here we are, 45 years later, and drag somebody else along with me. She's now here 12 years with me.
Full time.
Yeah.
Full time, yeah. So I mean, you got to wonder, like, where did the time go? But when you're involved in this industry and just creating all the fun and magic and everything for guests, I mean, it just flies by, doesn't it?
It does, and just this week, I mean, we'll go home, we'll get everything unpacked, we'll talk about it, what we want, what we like, what we're going to change, and then we start planning probably around January, February for the show. And it sounds crazy that it's that far away, but time goes by quick, and we are busier than heck, so we got to fit everything into the schedule, and we got to make time to make changes for here. Those cars that we use it. I hate taking them apart and just tossing away the side panels. So we save them, but we always come up with a new paint scheme on them, make it look pretty. And every year that if we have a new project going on, we get the permission from the park and we paint the car up to look like what they're going to have and exhibit that. That's the easiest part. But yeah, 45 years of doing this, 38 shows out of 45.
Awesome. Janine, what was it like growing up in a family that was, the family business was roller coaster cars?
So it was unique, but I don't know anything different. So my first show was when I was 3. Came down here with my dad, but my mom, obviously, she and I would just scour the show floor and ride the rides, taste the food, come back and check on my dad, need me to sit in the coaster car to model a small child. But yeah, growing up, it gave me the opportunity to be able to travel to amusement parks across the U.S., amusement parks across the world, IAAPA's summer meetings. If they were somewhere unique or once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, Tom would bring me along.
Drag her out of school. Then she went to that college thing, and I wanted to take her to China with me. I have finals. Oh, that's all right, you can make them up. No, I can't.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Life sometimes gets in the way. But yeah, it's amazing, and I didn't plan on being here, much like Tom. And when I graduated from college with my teaching degrees, it was a little of a slow hiring time in the teaching industry. And I had worked summers when I was a teenager, filing and helping out in the office between jobs. So there was an opportunity that they needed someone in the office, and I came aboard to just fill that temporary position, and temporary became permanent pretty quickly. So yeah, I love it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you love what you do, it never seems like a job. So that if you can find that situation, I mean, it's gold. It doesn't get any better than that. But Philadelphia Toboggan Company, or coasters now, you've been there 45 years, but it goes way back longer than that. So talk about just kind of, how long it's been around and just kind of the evolution of PTC.
It's going to be 120 years old next year. And, I sit back and I look at just some of these pictures, and we have archives. We've got over 8,000 photos, 5,000 drawings, and they date back to the early teens. We have the original ledger books for corporate meetings, and I just love them. I go upstairs, and sometimes I'll sneak up there. I don't want anybody find me. I just want to be left alone. You pull these old, dusty ledger books out, just sit and turn and read the handwriting of all the meetings and what went on in 1938 or 1922. It's the history of this company is just amazing. the one thing I'm very strongly knew when I took over was preserving all these photographs and preserving all these drawings. So it took a 15-year project to get done. Have everything scanned, digitized. It's all cataloged. And there's copies of it, and there's backups to that. And we have the originals all in ASIC-proof folders. Just the history of the company, the rides it built, it built log flumes, it built swimming pools, it built fun houses, panther cars, and it just loved this kind of stuff. Growing up as a kid, I loved putting stuff together. So when I came to work here, it started out with drilling floorboards for the cars, and the casino, they're like, this is how you assemble this. And then I started to learn how to read blueprints, and I'm assembling cars. And 9 months later, I'm foreman of the company, and I'm figuring, well, I'm just here temporarily until I find a better job. And 16 years later, I'm general manager, and my old boss Sam was a great guy, and just when I sold the company to, we were going to close it. That's that opportunity knocking thing my mom always told me about. And I just said, all right, we'll make this work. And scary as heck. I didn't want to see something of this history just fade away. There are too many companies. Like Lussey Brothers Bumper Cars, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Gone. Family was gone. They had no interest in it. Ray kept it right up to his death. But I want to carry this on, and I've been lucky enough. My health's been good. And, I busted myself up here and there, falling off of things, horses and motorcycles and things.
Yeah. One of the things, you're obviously known for roller coasters and the cars, but carousels were a big thing back in the early 1900s for PTC, and talk about that a little bit.
From 1902 to 1937, there was 87 carousels were built by the company. There was only 40, or maybe 41, left in existence. We track them. The Carousel Association, they're great to work with. And we've got drawings on them, and anytime that somebody needs some information or they're looking for a part, send me a picture, send me the dimensions, let me see. We might have it upstairs, and we have it above our stock room. We have like a arcade, not an arcade, just a stock, a pile of parts for carousels or crazy daisy rides and things we did. Never know. Our closest carousel to us is PTC number 59. It's in Peddler's Village up in New Hope, Pennsylvania. And the next one would be Hershey Park. And it's nice when they, hey, we got a question. Even down here at the Magic Kingdom, their carousel is the PTC, but don't tell you that.
Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so you mentioned, such a history behind the company, over 100 years. What's the next 100 years look like for PTC? This is a question for both of you,
the next 100 years, we definitely plan to be around. I would love to live the next 100 years.
I was going to ask if you're going to work for the 100 years.
That sounds great. But, we keep great relationships with our customers, and there's a reason why they come back to PTC for either rehabbing or updating, moving on to the next thing. We can offer that. So I think we will still stay in the business of roller coasters. We often are asked, will you start building them from the ground again, soup to nuts?
Yeah.
Opportunities are endless and you can't predict the future. That's what I like to say. And we have a lot of drawings, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, Janine, let me ask you this. Tom mentioned when he first started there, he started drilling, you know, on the floorboards and things like that, and then you learned how to read blueprints and then how to put the cars together. Do you know how to do all of that now?
I do, to an extent.
Okay.
So, I didn't start on a drill press. I started in the file department, organizing. That's my specialty. But when things are busy, like this winter, we need an extra set of hands. I can put on my work boots, put on my work jeans, and head out to the shop, and I can put your lap bars together, your mechanisms together. You need your chassis bolted. I'm right there jumping in. The guys and girls on the shop floor.
That's one of the things that I told her when we got busy. I said, if you're going to stay here, you need to know what you're talking about. When you go to shows, you go to visit customers. So come out with me. We're going to start putting chassis together for this job because we need an extra set of hands, and you're going to learn. So try to keep up. And we go out, and she's right there behind me, and she's to the point where everything's laid out. She knows what parts go where, how to make the measurements, make everything, and how to run the pneumatic guns, what the torque wrench specs are. So she's pretty good at it.
All right, we'll talk about, here at the show. It's 38 years for you. How's the week gone for you?
I missed it.
How's the week gone for you down here?
Oh, how the week's going? It's a whirlwind. Yes, it's day 3. And yesterday was nonstop. Today, it was like, good morning, everybody. And the show starts at 10 o'clock. About 10:01, we had customers come in and sat down with us. They were at the gate, ready to run. And I gotta say one thing about the history of Point. We had a port come to us and sat down. They had an issue, and they said, "We're looking to do this. And of all the manufacturers we deal with, we want you to figure out if we can do this and how we can do this. We want to work with you." And we're just kind of sitting here going, "Okay, and why us?" And they said, "Because you're the best ones to work with." And I'm sitting here like, what? He goes, "You are the easiest, and you get along, and you understand what we want to do, and we have a good relationship with you." And that, yesterday, I was like, I'll go home now. I'm just happy as can be to hear something like that.
So, currently with PTC, just what's the current status of the company? How many employees do you have? How big's your facility? Things like that. I've just always been curious because I know that these companies, on the outside looking in, you think that roller coaster manufacturers have hundreds of employees doing this and that, but it's usually not. It's usually in the dozens. How many do you have?
A dozen.
Dozen. Okay, 1 dozen.
You got it.
We've got a dozen employees. We got one full-time dog that comes to work every day. There's occasionally wiener dogs come in. Occasionally some Labradors come in. Everybody in the shop loves the dogs. And like I said, 2 of my employees have 1 dog, and they don't want to leave it home all day long. They bring it in with them. And I have no problem with that.
So dog-friendly work environment.
There
I like
you go.
to hear that.
Dog-friendly work environment. We have some outside vendors that we deal with, but the building itself, 46,000 square feet, 280 feet long by 160 feet wide. We utilize 36,000 square feet of it for a machine shop, weld shop, wood shop, paint shop, assembly shop, disassembly area, wheel areas, degreasing areas. The office area, and then the upstairs is our archives. Outside the property, there's a couple acres. It's all maintained by pretty much everybody in house. I've got one guy who you can, if something goes wrong, you could give him a tin can and a chicken heart. He'll make a wanker rotor engine out of the thing. He's one of these MacGyver guys. He figures things out and makes it work better. So things going on the outside. Hey, well, we're a little slow now. It's summertime. Guys will grab weed whackers, pruners. They'll go out and take care of the trees. and take care of the property in general. But yeah, inside we're busy. We're busy. And
I imagine you have a busy season and a not busy season.
oh, I can pull the security cameras up for the inside of the building, and you can see how many cars we have stocked up. We got the Blue Street cars in. We've got cars from Adventureland, Six Flags. A couple trains are in from there.
So right after Halloween, do you guys
Pretty
just get
much.
inundated with shipments because that's when all the seasonal was?
Yeah. Occasionally there's a park who'll say, can I send you one train now and send the other one like after Halloween? Bring it on, bring it on. Sooner we get them, the sooner we get them back to you.
Yeah, it probably works out for you.
Yeah, and what we do is a total tear down right back to where it started. If the frame gets sent out, wheel frames get sent out, clutch assemblies get sent out, everything gets sent out, and baking soda plastic, environmentally friendly. And it's also good for the chassis because it's a steel and aluminum build. Everything that gets the paint taken off, and then it gets all NDT by an outside service that comes in first. And that's when things start getting crowded up because we planned so many days with them. And we rush through everything we can possibly get through. Not rush, but like we have it all lined up and ready to go. And so that keeps the weld shop busy and a couple of machine shop busy, a couple extra long days. But once it's done, it passes inspection, reports are made out, everything's in a crate, everything's on a pallet, everything's got a tag, everything. It's traceability and who touched it last and where he dropped it off and who took over the next point. It gets primed, it gets painted, it gets fixed, it gets put back together, fully reassembled, and we get it out of the way and start to get the next job in there. And we usually have 2 or 3 different parts running at the same time, so everything has got to be coordinated. And traceability is the biggest thing with us. So when we make that report out, all the documents from the testing company is what we hand to the parts. Here you go. Then they just take it. State inspector comes in. This is what we did there. Good enough for us. They know us.
How long does the process take? So from the time a train's dropped off until the time it's ready to be rolling stock again, typically speaking?
We usually tell parts 5 to 6 months, and it depends on how busy we are and where they stand on the pecking order. You know, hey, I got my contract back to you. I got everything. Everything's dated in our whiteboard in our conference room, so we keep track of that. But it's 5 to 6 months. But I like telling them that just because I know in about 4.5 months it'll be done. We had during the pandemic, we were in the middle of a build for a park, and I don't know if you want me to say the park.
Probably not.
Okay, don't say the bar.
Okay. And they were getting 2 brand new trains, and everything stopped. Everything went still. I walked around the office, the shop every single day to make sure nothing's leaking or smoking, and just started doing day-to-day videos and things. Then we got back to work, and we got the train back, and I got a very nice email from the chief engineer saying, we can't get parts right now, we can't get things out of vendors. And now I have a vendor who sends me 2 new trains 30 days early. That meant a lot to me, and you know, it helped them out too. When they were allowed to open back up, you know, they were ready and had everything set to go.
Awesome.
Customer service is a huge point of, you know, our relationship through the industry. So number 1 is we like to be a safety leader, and number 2 is we work with our customers. When do they need things? How do they want them? And you know, we're here to make everybody feel like they're our only customer, even though they know there's others out there. Relationships are key.
That's a little tough sometimes with the big theme parks because they got so many different rides that we deal with that try to make each one feel good, but I know they pass it on to each other. And they're like, hey, you know what they did for us? And they go, they did that to us too. We thought we were the only ones.
Awesome. Okay, so you mentioned that you were doing these like live videos and stuff. Do you guys have a social media presence, and where can people find you?
Oh yeah. Just
So our website is www.philadelphiatoboggancoastersinc.com. It's a long one, but it's easy to remember as long as you know our name. We're on Facebook, Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters Inc., and we also are on Instagram, Philadelphia_toboggan_coasters.
have yet to see them.
But nonetheless, the content keeps rolling, right?
She
Yeah.
takes care of it.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. True honor. It's great. It's
Just so happy we can hook up and do this. And like I apologize again because we had to bow out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on, and you're always busy, and we just appreciate the time that you were able to give us, here today.
We have 4 dogs at home, and one of them swallows something, and all of a sudden it's got to take care of itself. So.
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
All right, guys.
Look forward to doing it again.
Janine
Thank
and
you.
Tom, Philadelphia Tobogganing.
Thanks, Todd.
See you.
Janine,
See you.
good seeing you.
Awesome. Thank you. Don, touching on to, innovation and some of the rides that are really kind of exciting. We had Kris Rowberry. We did a short interview with him. He's from Ride Entertainment. They represent some of the, as they say, best ride manufacturers in the world. Can't really disagree with that in some cases. They do Fun Time and they do Geerlings. They have some really interesting products, some really cool things, including an off-roading vehicle, which is like a go-kart, which I thought was really cool. This is what he had to say.
Day 3 of the IAAPA Expo. We're here with Kris Rowberry from Ride Entertainment. Kris, tell us what you're doing here.
We have been so busy at the Expo this year. It's been wonderful getting to reconnect with all of our clients. Been running back and forth between the Geerlings booth and Ride Entertainment, showing off all the new products that we have available. It's really an exciting time. It's the best week of the year, really.
Well, you mentioned how busy you are. I would imagine you haven't really had a chance to go around and walk the floor.
No, it's funny that I've actually seen quite a bit of the floor from our Geerlings booth, which is about 4 booths that way, to our Ride Entertainment booth. So that section's been lovely.
All right.
But we've been really busy. It's been great.
So I've always been curious about this. What is Ride Entertainment's relationship with Geerlings?
So think of it like this. Ride Entertainment is a sports agent to
Okay.
the best brands in the attractions industry.
Okay.
So think of us like Jerry Maguire, right? So they get to focus on doing what they do best, which is make incredible attractions. And then we get to do it best, which is bring those out to all the different parks and attractions and bring them to you, the guests.
Awesome. You're here with obviously Geerlings is a big client of yours here in the United States. What are some of your favorite installations of Geerlings rides from your personal standpoint?
All right, so I'm a little impartial because I had a chance to visit it this year, but Defiance at Glenwood Caverns is probably one of the most stunning rides you will ever see. It's on the top of a 2,000-foot mountain, and the views are just spectacular. But there's a caveat. They're spectacular if you keep your eyes open because it's a beyond vertical drop, and it's right off the side of a cliff. So it's pretty impressive, to say the least. But that one, for views, you cannot beat it.
Awesome.
You come down here. What were you looking to accomplish, in terms of, throughout the expo, you're here, 4 or 5 days. What's kind of like when you're planning for this, what you're looking to accomplish?
Planning to make sure I have very comfortable shoes. But the big thing is to reconnect with our clients, those that we've been talking with throughout the whole year, or meet brand new ones who come to us and say, hey, we want to do something or we have an idea. We'd like to see if you guys can make it come to fruition. And we're all about making sure that happens.
So is it more about, getting deals done or more about just creating awareness that you're here, here's what we can do for you?
It's a little bit of both. It really depends on where the client is. So if they want to make a deal, then by all means, we're happy to do that. But for a lot of other people, it's let me see what you got and let me think about that and then sort of get that process started.
All right. Well, talk about, you have a car on display here. Talk about that.
So this is one of our newest partners, Longfish Leisure, and this is their mini safari car. This thing is incredible. We haven't had a chance to test drive it yet, at least on the show floor. But it can. It's totally autonomous. It's trackless. It can go on any different It can go on any type of surface. It can go through water. It can run in the snow. Think of it as the coolest opportunity for your kids to get behind the wheels of a vehicle. It goes about 3 miles an hour, so you can walk right along with your child as you're going on it. A parent can ride with their child if they want to. And this thing's got torque because it's all electric. It's an all-day battery. And man, it's all-purpose. It can go anywhere. And this one is a Land Rover Defender. It's styled just like the real thing.
You know, for kids, you know, a lot of times, you know, when you look at things like the antique cars and those kind of rides, turnpike cars, that's their first driving experience. So for a lot of kids, that's going to be the first time they ever get behind the wheel of a vehicle.
And get this is the best part about it, is that it can go anywhere. You don't have to have a track, per se. You can just have a small wilderness area. And if they want to just go and pretend like they're going off-road, just sort of a set course set up, but you don't necessarily have to have it on a concrete trough. It can go anywhere and pretty much do anything.
So is it autonomous? Like you set the parameters of where you want it to go and they just hop in and it goes? Is that how it works?
The only parameters are what you, the driver, want to do. So you can just sort of set up the, you know, certain guardrails and barriers if you want, or just have them just drive it around.
Okay.
And come on back.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Are there any other new products you guys are especially excited about this year?
Yes, but we can't talk about them just yet. So there's always that, just wait till next year, right? There's really more coming. Heard that one a few times, right? So stay tuned because you never know what we might be announcing next.
Yeah, now one other question that we want to ask you about is, you know, you've been involved with the industry for quite a while. You have the pandemic. You know, last year was starting to rebound a little bit. Do you feel this year the vibe that it is now kind of back to normal, as close as it has been since the pandemic?
I definitely. If you can feel a real positive vibe on the show floor. It feels like pre-pandemic in terms of people want to get out there, they want to see the new products, and they want to put them into their facilities. And that's a great sign to see, not just for us at Ride Entertainment, but for the attractions industry as a whole, because the rising tide lifts all boats.
All right, well, Kris Rowberry, Ride Entertainment, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Like to see you again.
Thank you so much. Well, I sure wish they had that off-road go-kart vehicle when I was a kid. I would have loved that, wouldn't you?
You know, I would have loved it as a kid, but also, remember, you know, adults can ride it too.
Absolutely. You know, so I thought that was really interesting. It was always really neat to see a lot of the people around the park, around the park, a lot of people around the show. Still in park mode,
right?
And you know, it was great catching up with friends. We saw again our friends from Skyline Attractions and from B&M and Gerstlauer, Ride Entertainment, Intimate. You know, we got to interact with everybody. We have some great guests lined up over the next several months that want to come on and talk about their different facets in the amusement industry. So we're really excited about that. It's been a very successful show. Don, do you have any final thoughts?
You know, just a great time down here, you know, at IAAPA, and just seeing all the different, you know, suppliers that are out there, and just some of the new innovations, but also, you know, as we mentioned with Tom Rebbie and the Philadelphia toboggan coasters, just some of the old, you know, those styles that have been around forever too. Just so much to see, so much to do, and I'm glad we had a chance to have enough time here to take it all in.
Yeah, it's my feet ache. My back aches, my calves ache. That's kind of the life of any convention, let alone the one that's this big. How are you feeling physically, Don? Aside from almost falling asleep at the table here.
You know, okay. I mean, you know, you know it's going to be, you know, a grueling 3 days. And we're not, you know, if you're just here to just kind of look around, you know, you can pace yourself a little bit different. But for us, this was actually a work week for us.
Right.
We had a lot to accomplish, you know, coming in that we were looking to do. And I think, you know, we checked all the boxes pretty much on what we wanted to do, and maybe a little bit more. And, you know, as you mentioned, a lot of the guests that we've been able to line up for future podcasts, I think everyone's going to really enjoy the next, you know, basically 3 to 4 months that we have outlined now for you on the Attractions Group podcast.
Yeah, I mean, ride manufacturers, we've got safety people, we've got a guy that makes snow in the summer. We got that all coming up. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'm really excited about the next several months of the podcast, aren't you?
Very excited about it, you know. And the thing that really, you know, kind of caught me a little bit by surprise, Ryan, and I think it did you too, was the number of people that came up to us that told us they listened to the podcast, you know, they enjoyed the podcast. and we're not just talking, coming from the enthusiast group there. I mean, we're talking people who are some pretty big names in the industry.
Yeah, there were high-end journalists and people work for manufacturers for part. We had somebody. I'm not going to name names here, but somebody that's a pretty high member of it's like a park organization, a company, and they came up to introduce themselves, saying that they love the podcast. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that surprised me. I mean, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
And one of the things we wanted to be about was, a podcast for the industry, about the industry. And that told me that we were heading in the right direction with the feedback that we got about the podcast this week.
I agree. And always, if you have your feedback for us, feel free to tweet us at attractions_GRP as always. So Don, let's talk about the show overall, the last 3 days. Below expectations, at expectations, exceed expectations. Where would you put it?
I think exceed expectations, coming off still a couple years ago, the pandemic, not knowing how that was, still impacting, some parts of the industry. But, you come down here, the vibe is that, it's as close to normal as it's been in a long time, and I think just talking to a number of the manufacturers, they all felt, good about the vibe, the interest level that was there. And, I don't know what 30-something thousand people, attended this week. So it's good to see that, things are rebounding and it's getting back to normal again in our industry.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because that was the theme of today, I would say. Because I would say that probably 15 to 20% of the people we talked to said it feels so good to be back after the pandemic. So I would probably say from a social standpoint, the pandemic is in the past in this industry as of IAAPA 2022.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything's full throttle, looking ahead now for everybody, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Would you come back next year?
Absolutely. I think we have to make this an annual event, and you talked about before did it exceed my expectations. It'd been several years since I've been here, and it was just kind of as a park fan and just kind of taking my time looking around. It was just a one-day type of thing, but you really get a chance to immerse yourself in just everything out there about the attractions industry. It's not just, the theme parks, that are out there. You got the family entertainment centers and the arcades and, all of those kind of things that we had a chance to see. And there's a lot of cool things out there, across the board, and a lot to be excited about. I think the future looks very bright for the attractions industry.
I agree. And I think that, there are certain things that you learn when you come here. The number one was, I mentioned on the last two, day wrap-up special editions, is that you don't realize how many hands are in it for the industry. Because you think that if you buy a roller coaster, then, Intamin supplies that, B&M supplies that. But no, the air gates come from somewhere. The restraints sometimes come from somewhere. The braking systems come from somewhere. The wheels come from somewhere. They're all represented here.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that another point that is really interesting is you don't realize how big and wild the FEC industry is. I would say a third of the floor is FEC-related stuff.
That was a little bit of a surprise to me, just how big that was. I knew they'd have a little bit of representation here, but not as much as they did. And it's just, fun to look at all the different things that are out there and not just focus on the thrill rides.
I agree, and the thrill rides have their place. And it seems like, when you have big manufacturers, you have your B&Ms and your Intamins, they're here for a different reason than a lot of the other people. Because if somebody wants to build a B&M coaster, they reach out to them and they don't see you at a booth and be like, you know what, I'm going to go with that. Let's be honest here. That's just not the way the world works. They're here to, meet with the clients, have face-to-face time with them, and get a little bit of press coverage with the train releases and train unveils and so on. But FECs, like there's the VR and the augmented reality and all that stuff. That was a huge theme this year where it was showcasing, and they're like, hey, come back next year, and this is going to be everywhere.
And Ryan, when we look around the floor, everybody's, busy meeting with clients and, they're trying to get deals done, trying to, let everyone know, what their products are about. But we'd be remiss if we didn't want to thank everyone who took the time out to meet with us, talk with us, share what they're doing. Obviously, and like I said, everybody, has been super busy down here, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because if I had a company where, whether or not we're profitable next year may rely on this show, if somebody like me came up and said, hey, can I do a 10-minute interview, I'd tell them to buzz off. And I expected like a lot of that.
Yeah.
I expected them to be like, yeah, we appreciate it, but no. And it's funny because, so nearly everybody we've talked to either said, okay, yeah, let's do it right now. Or, all right, we're really busy right now, tomorrow at 10. That was really nice. And then even one or two said, we have a policy where we can't allow that, because if I'm talking to you and a client comes in, they may walk away. Completely understandable. Both of those people that said, let me give you my business card. Let's do it for real. Let's do a real podcast over Skype. So that's super exciting. That's just what the industry's all about, isn't it?
It is. It is. I walked by one of the booths you're talking about right there, and they even said something like, we look forward to talking with you on your podcast. So here it is a couple days later, they remembered those conversations with us, and, just really excited about, what we have going on, Ryan, over the next several weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, looks like the last day of IAAPA is in the books, Don.
It's in the books. It's been a good time. Lived up to all the expectations, exceeded it. And now, we just look forward to, doing this again next year at this time. And we hope everybody enjoyed the content that we put out there. I think one of the things we introduced here that we found had pretty good engagement was those YouTube shorts. And, we'll try to find ways to keep that as part of what we're doing. It's a little difficult when you're not on site somewhere to do a lot of that. But, we'll try to figure something out. But, I think that was a lot of fun, a fun way to showcase, what we were seeing on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, with the shorts, it was just something flashy, bright, and colorful. It seemed to work. So that's a lesson learned, and that's kind of the story of the industry. So lots of stuff like that. You may see a lot from Kings Island from us, to be honest with you. So any final thoughts, Don?
I think, like I said, it was a good time, and, look forward to doing it again next year, and just really excited about what we accomplished down here, Ryan. And, we kept talking about it for months. This was our goal. This is what we need to do. This is where we need to be by that time. And, we checked a lot of boxes.
I agree. I don't think the show could have gone much better for us, So, well, thanks once again. Thanks to everyone who engaged with us. We appreciate you following our content and putting up with our stupid tweets and so on. And once again, on Twitter, attractions_GRP, trying to keep you in the loop. Search for the Attractions Group Podcast on YouTube and on your favorite podcast apps. So from Orlando, Florida, thanks for listening.